Parks Commission. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? It looks like, Julie, you got it tonight.
Everybody please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brandy, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kelly Watson,
Present.
Commissioner Julie Stolnak,
Present.
Commissioner Dave Lupps,
Present.
Vice Chairperson Lee Davis,
Present.
and Chairperson Bob Moda.
I am here. Thank you. And I want to say Happy New Year to everyone here. Thank you. And it's great to have a full dais tonight. It's been a while. I see that there's no presentation. Public communications related to commission business only, and that is within the subject matter under the jurisdiction of the commission. Anyone? Right up to the mic.
I'm here.
Your name, please.
My name is Chris Edom, resident, 12 years. I've been coming to these meetings on and off for 7 years trying to get the skate park thing going, and the last one I went to was at Joslyn Center, and it seemed like there might have been something actually going with the teen center. So I just wanted to come again and remind everybody that we still need to get this going. And I have printouts of the cost estimate. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but I'll pass them out again so they're fresh in your mind. I've emailed everything over to, all the hard work's done as far as the design goes, the cost estimate goes. It's just really, getting it in motion now, so. And the skate park's only getting worse, right? I mean, would you send your kids to a soccer field to play on glass, broken glass? That's like, the concrete's just getting so pitted now, it's no fun. And you see how crowded it is all the time. It's kind of a squeaky wheel, me coming up here. You guys already know all this stuff, so just a reminder. Let's get the skate park
And
going.
Ally, you've seen all this, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
so staff
That's it.
staff has got it under
Okay.
advisement.
I'll
Thank
leave
you.
the stack. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Seeing none. Randy, was there any written communication?
There were not.
Thank you. Consent calendar, approval of the minutes. I'm sorry, let me back up. Let me close public communications. Now we'll move to the consent calendar, approval of minutes of the Recreation and Parks Commission meeting of November 16th, 2022. I have a question. I was not here that night. One of my very few absences. I have a question on the approval of the minutes from the month before. It says there were 4 people present, but the motion carried 3-0. So was it 4-0, or was somebody not here at the approval of the minutes?
So that what you're asking about the meeting, the minutes that reflect the meeting
For the
of no-
October 19th meeting.
Somebody wasn't here.
I
that-
walked in 10, 15 minutes late.
That answers my question.
Missed that vote.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted, with that, can I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is 5-0. Okay, there's no unfinished business. We're new business, consideration and possible action to amend the Recreation Parks Commission bylaws. Ally Mancini, Recreation Parks and Library Director, will be handling that one.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable Chair and members of the Commission. Before I start tonight, if I may take a moment, I wanted to congratulate Linnea Palmer. For those of you that have not heard, she was recently promoted to the management analyst position in the admin office. So she is leaving the pools, but she's joining us over in admin to do great things. And I'm very proud of her, and I'm really excited to continue working with her. So I wanted to let all the commission know that, and welcome Linnea. Right. Tonight, the commission is being asked to approve changes to the bylaws that have been made at the council's direction to unify the many CCBs within the city. In August 2022, the council approved changes to the bylaws and directed that all CCB's bylaws be updated and adopted. The following are key changes that were made. Under authority, new language that candidates will be reviewed and recommended by the chair and the vice chair, and the subsequent interviews and appointments will be made by the city council for 4-year terms. There's new language specifying that a commissioner must reside in El Segundo. There's new language authorizing the chair and the vice chair to review and recommend candidates to the city council. There's new language regarding staff support for research requests. New language citing the government code that allows the recess or dissolution of the commission by the city council. Under removing a commissioner, there's new language specifying that commissioners shall serve at the pleasure of the city council and may be removed at any time by a majority vote of the city council. There is also new language specifying that commissioners can be removed after 3 or more absences in a 12-month period. And this isn't consecutive, this is absences throughout a 12-month period.
The operative word is can.
Meetings, provide opportunity to give the city council an update on the commission's workplace at a city council meeting. A joint meeting will be held annually in February between the CCB members and the city council. And modify the conduct of meetings subsection to reference that meetings must be conducted based upon the latest edition of Robert's Rules of Order. And just to follow up on Chair Moda's comment, if you read through the language, you'll see that the recommendation to remove the commissioner would have to come from the commission itself. So language does not give the council, or doesn't designate the council as being the body that would recommend that removal. So that would lie within the commission.
Plus, they can remove without a recommendation anyway.
Right.
Serve at their pleasure.
Exactly. So that concludes my report. You all have the bylaws, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them. Yes.
Sorry, I do. And I'll hit all of you too. The first one is Section 8, yes, El Segundo City Employee Eligibility. City employees are not eligible for Recreation Parks Commission membership. We've had that in the past, the residents. So if they're a city employee and a resident,
They could not serve on the Park and Rec Commission.
wow, we had one of our longest serving commissioners, and this is not new. This wasn't an addition. One of our longest serving commissioners was on it 20 plus years. So, Yep. Can we look into that?
I think staff had a comment on that.
Whether it's our department or it can be outside of our department.
Right, I think it could be specifically talking about a recreation employee, so we will look into that for you.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
That makes sense, but she was,
Was I ever taken off payroll? Okay.
because she was a police department employee.
Okay, we will
And-
definitely look into that.
And her service was beyond reproach. So that's my one. And then the other, special meetings, so it's in section 2 of meetings, special meetings, the chair or a majority of the Recreation Parks Commission shall determine the time and place of the special meeting. And special meetings must be noticed 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Notice to the public 24 hours or notice to everyone 24, to the commission? What I'm getting at is that our special meetings, we should have a little more than 24 hours. The commission, so we don't have a time that a special meeting's called and we don't know about it.
It would only be the chair, right? The chair would,
All of us should know more than 24 hours. All of us up here should know more than 24 hours before a meeting.
right, so you're saying you would like to strike that and request that it be a longer time period?
Well, I guess my question is, special meetings must be noticed 24 hours in advance of the meeting. That's my main concern, Is that notice to the public or notice to everyone?
It has to be noticed to the public.
Okay, okay, I get it now, all
It
right.
has to be noticed to the public.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, my mistake there.
Nope, that's okay.
I wanted to be sure that's how it was, to the
No,
public.
thank you for the question.
Okay, let's start, anyone else?
So I guess, on that same line is that, as a person who unfortunately missed some meetings last year, I guess part of it is if a meeting gets changed, like, there were many meetings that I could attend, or that someone could attend, that get canceled, right? Because we did cancel a number of
Oh,
meetings, and we canceled
okay.
them with late notice. And then other meetings you happen to, not be able to come to or whatever, and it just feels like, it's not a two-way street, right? It's like, if you miss a meeting, but we're at the whim of what the schedule ends up being. Same with the special meeting. If a special meeting gets called and you can't make that meeting, but your schedule has been planned in advance, I think that that's kind of problematic, so. And I realize it's in May and not a will, but it's sort of in the spirit of it, I feel like, I just feel like it's a great remedy if there's someone not doing their job and not coming to meetings. It's not a great remedy if someone's working super hard, has attended a whole bunch of committee meetings and everything else, and then for whatever reason that day, it becomes problematic.
Yeah, this, in my opinion, this is a situation that has nothing to do with your situation. This would be a situation we had a commissioner who didn't contribute,
Right.
didn't go on 50 different subcommittees and everything. I mean, I think it's the whole thing, and that's why the May is an important piece, and
That's-
Okay.
I think we're good.
And that's
Personally.
why I said can and not
Right.
will.
I appreciate that.
Okay. So
And I
there-
think that the rest of the commission, if that were to be the case in this situation with you this year and you'd missed 3, we would all come
We got your back.
to your defense, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it would be at your recommendation.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be, staff, it wouldn't be someone else saying, oh, let's consider this, it would be the commission.
Right.
So as long as you all have an agreement and understanding between yourselves.
Absolutely.
Second question is about the chair and the vice chair sort of vetting candidates first. I wonder about, and again, we've never really had something that was so contentious that we were in horrible disagreement, but envisioning a time where maybe that could ever become the case.
Where these two don't like each other and they have a difference of who they're gonna
Right, and
recommend.
now they're stacking the
Yeah,
commission with, but
totally.
like that, it feels a little wonky, is all I'm saying, that maybe there's, I liked that council, but previous to this, I believe the process was that council vetted candidates and we on the commission had no say in who was potentially gonna fill that opening. And now we're saying that we're gonna kind of inbreed some, some new candidates,
Yeah,
so.
if I may, Bob, and then you can go after me. I think part of this was many years ago, there was a feeling that the council was interviewing a couple, 3, 4 people, and all they had was the paper in front of them and the interview. And so I remember discussion way back when where we said, man, someone up here should be able to, at least, we may know, the 5 of us collectively may have a really good idea about some of the candidates and whether we're up for a seat or not. And so that was, I think, part of it. But I did have the same exact concern, and it's really about the 2 of them, that like, you 2 will work together. And what if your seat's up and his isn't, and now you want to be recommended? And there could be a time where it could be a little bit sketchy, I agree. But I like it because I think council needs to hear maybe what, our experience with the candidates. But I'm with you. I had that to talk about.
I understand what you're saying, and I agree to a certain extent. With that being said, you're always able to contact any one of us, especially the 2 chair and vice chair, on your opinions, especially if you know somebody who's trying to come in and go up, and then we will recommend. And I 100% believe that was so that council knows what we feel is important. And I can tell you, council does what they want to do, regardless of our opinions anyway. So as much as you might want to have a lot of input, trust us, it's not as much input as you may think. So I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but that's kind of the way it is and the way it's read.
You said it all. I don't need to say anything else. They have their own opinions. okay? But thank you for bringing it up. I appreciate that. Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to say something on
Go
the
ahead.
part about the removal. I see like with council that they have the option of joining a meeting via Zoom. Do we have that option as well?
I don't think you do, and I don't think that the council is going to have that same ability soon. I think that that's changing. So what we'll do is we'll look into it, we'll contact the city clerk's office, but I've heard that that is going to be changing and that in-person is going to be required. Because apparently, if someone is somewhere else and wants to attend the meeting, we have to go to that location and post the information, because that's where they are. So I know it's an issue that's being discussed. Is that correct, Brandy? They're having some discussions about that. So we will circle back to you when we get that clarification. But so my answer would, I would assume, and I will check, but I assume the answer would be no.
Okay.
There's definitely a way to do it if council wants to. They'll have to choose whether they want to do it or not. because
Exactly.
we've done it.
That's a policy
You post
question
it
for
where
the
the person
council.
is on vacation.
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sorry, that was not exactly an answer.
Anyone else?
The only other one I was going to mention was, in reading through the bylaws, it just reminded me that January is when we're supposed to vote for chair, and it wasn't on the agenda, so we'll probably pick that up in February.
Yes,
Cool.
because we're gonna hopefully approve these tonight, then we will work on that for February.
So you can't make any recommendations in the next 30 days. Sorry, Bob.
Okay, with that, I'm going back to what, I don't have a problem with approving them, but I still want an answer on section 8. So if it says not, city employees, I'm gonna say recreation and parks and library employees are not eligible for Recreation and Parks Commission, I could approve that.
So I think you can make a motion
Okay.
to approve them with that change. And then we will take that to the city clerk's office and they can determine whether or not it has to come back again. But what I would recommend is that you make the motion with the change in language.
I'll withdraw my initial motion. I'll withdraw my motion, and now
Okay.
you can make a new motion.
I want to move approval with, and I want the proper wording, if you can give it to me. So what is the Recreation and Parks Department?
Recreation, Parks, and Library Department employee.
Those are not eligible for Recreation and Parks Commission membership. I move that we approve it with that change.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I heard 5-0. Okay?
Yep.
Told you I was gonna be a pain tonight. Sponsorship program, Ally, you have that one too?
Yes, I'm actually going to request that we table that conversation until February. I've got some more work to do with the city attorney's office. Have some clarification, so it will be ready before February, but that would be the next time I'd be able to bring it to the commission, and I will not take it to the council until the commission sees it. So I'll be pushing back the date that I'm taking it to the council.
We'll need a motion to do that? Yes. Somebody?
I can motion
To
table item
2.
2 until the next meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
That's 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, athletic field and facility use allocation policy. Ally?
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission, staff is before you this evening recommending approval of an updated athletic field and facility use allocation policy. As commission recalls, the changes to the field allocation policy were discussed in great length at a joint commission of the Parks and Recreation Commission and the Youth Sports Council in October of 2022. The changes included several editing and formatting changes and a few policy changes to address the evolving needs of the city and the user groups. The document is attached, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. I think we've all been through this together.
We have.
So there have been no additional changes since that.
I see a couple.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
But let's let everyone else take a shot, and I'll finish up. I'll start in this end.
You go first, because
I'm good.
Okay. Okay, good.
I meant you go first.
All right, the first one is, I'd like to see, if we're gonna approve this tonight, and we're already in 2023, I wanna see these changes go into effect in 2024, not 2023.
In January of 2024, or
Correct.
would you be amenable to the fiscal year July 1st?
I could go with fiscal year.
Okay.
Can you explain why, Bob? Just
Yeah.
curious.
Oh, absolutely. Because some leagues have already done registration and have sent it out, and I'll say Little League, Babe Ruth, girls softball, and so they'd have to go back to get more money from,
Oh, yeah, we would, and just a comment, you could approve this, the fees wouldn't go in effect until July 1 regardless.
that's where I'm going.
Yeah, we can't
Yep.
increase the fees until it's
So it's not
approved.
2024, so it'll be 7/1,
Right,
2023.
exactly.
I could live with that,
Okay,
because, yes, that should work.
right.
Staff can probably see, it says here in your recommendation, staff's recommendations, that it takes effect February 1st.
So I think
But
the rest
fees-
of the document, but the fees wouldn't take effect until
Wouldn't take
July
effect.
1. Sorry for that confusion.
Okay. Where's my next one here? Going to the page 9, postseason tournaments, I just want to confirm, it's number 3, all tournaments must end within 60 days of the completion on the season of the host youth sports organization. I'm just bringing that up, and that takes me into my next question.
Which page, sorry?
Page 9,
Okay,
postseason tournaments,
yes,
number 3.
yes, I see
Okay,
that.
just bringing that up.
Is that different from previously?
No, it's correct. It's
I
bringing
think
it-
they just added the language, right? With the exception of El Segundo AYSO.
and I'm perfectly fine
Okay.
with the number 3. I am.
Okay.
I want to move to page 13. There's only a couple of things here. Annual field closures.
Yes,
I want to know where the summer closure Stevenson Field. Summer closure, field closed July 5th and opening October 1st. Where did July 5th come from?
so if I recall, the staff met with the user groups, correct? And they worked out this schedule based on the end of the baseball league, from what I understand. Is that correct? The all-star tournaments end at the end of June?
Okay. Babe Ruth season, All-Star season doesn't end until about July 15th, July 16th. So, and when we were at our meeting, July 30th is really about, that's the last day that possibly anything could happen on Stevenson Field for baseball. So if we went with July 15th instead of July 5th, most of their tournaments would be done.
Okay, so I would want to defer this then until next month, because I don't have Christopher or Sean here. And they're the two that would make the recommendation of the closure.
Yeah, because All-Stars are still playing middle of July, almost through the end of July.
Okay,
And
so
they're still practicing, or could be.
Okay,
This has changed. Somebody changed this date, because it used to be end of July, beginning of August.
yeah, I'd have to defer to the staff and talk with them.
Because the rest of the changes are red, so.
Yeah, that's exactly why I
So could it
went
be a
through
typo? Could it be meant to be July 15th? It could be a typo.
Well, I'm not sure.
It's not in red,
I,
so, okay.
I didn't type it, so I don't know.
Okay, so if I may ask that we just defer that until I am able to confer with the staff.
And I would even, given that who knows what day of the week things happen, to have a specific date in here is probably not a great idea anyway. Maybe a little bit looser,
Yeah.
like mid-July to mid-August, October, and then you can play with it each year depending on, maybe they don't have a tournament.
Yeah, it's difficult because
Yeah.
then.
They want dates.
They want a date, and then if, then it comes into this difficult, from what I understand, but,
And so I'm almost done.
Who wants a date? Maintenance? Maintenance wants a date?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, I get it. Maintenance wants a date, and I understand that. But the Babe Ruth season ends third week, beginning of fourth week of June. So if you add 60 days onto that, we're into August. So I know, I'm trying to get away from having to get for their All-Star tournament. I'm going back to my, so I'm trying to get away from having them do any special permits or anything like that. Shouldn't have to. It's still a baseball field. I know that they want to get started on renovation and rest, but we still have to finish the seasons.
Yeah, let's have that, I'd like Christopher to be able to speak to his decision. I'd like to, if that's okay with the commission.
And
He
if-
unfortunately was not able to be here. He had an emergency.
Yeah, and, I did speak to both of them about this, but it's never had a July 5th date, ever. So, anyway, that's what I have. Kelly?
I was just pulling it up, the old one from 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, the field closures were the second week of December to February 14th for Stevenson, second week of December to 1 week before ESLL opening day for George Brett. Martin Park softball field was December 1st to January 31st. Richmond Street was second week of July to the first day of school, and Campus El Segundo had none. So I'm just reading the old one.
So Stevenson was December to January only?
Yeah, they did specifically talk about needing a summer closure.
Right, and
Yeah.
it has been, but it wasn't listed in the policy, but it was always been closed. And understandable. Not going away from, I know that it has to be done. We all know that it has to be done. But we have to be cognizant of the date. If there's an organization still using the field, you can't take it away from them.
Well, I think that's where we'll have to make the decision, right? Is if the staff is recommending that they close the field early, that would be a decision that you would have to either approve or deny,
That is correct.
right? So I'd like Christopher to be able to come back and speak to that
Okay,
specific, because I'm not
That's
sure
fine.
why he and Sean landed on that date.
okay, great, no problem. You have something else? Okay. So I hit it, okay. Wow, I love it. Moving, so what do you want us to do with this? Do you want us to hold this over? Do you want us to approve you want to approve it all at once?
No, I'd like to just bring back, I'd like
Yeah.
to maybe table it until the staff return so we can have that discussion, because they would probably know exactly and be able to respond to that. I didn't want to pull the whole item, but we can.
Okay, I get it. So I will move that we have this brought back to us next month.
Okay.
And there's a second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Reports. Aquatics Subcommittee. Who's got that one? I'm looking at all of you.
All right, aquatics. Council met, aquatics subcommittee has not technically met. Council met last night. They are moving on with the approval of the plunge. That is the big news, and we want to thank Linnea and Ally for all their work on that. And that's about all I got. Kelly, if you have anything.
Can you just, would you mind providing more details? Like, is there a timeline? Is there a
The timeline's in
budget
question, the
set?
timeline
I
that's
didn't
out
watch the
there,
meeting.
it was discussed in length last night.
Right.
There are some very long periods that people aren't very happy with on council. and they're looking to shorten those timelines, and try to solidify budgeting and everything else.
So they don't have all the money yet?
They
Sorry, I didn't watch the
have yet
meeting.
to allot the money, X number of dollars, and fundraising was brought up in detail about how they're going to go about fundraising. And I probably shouldn't go any further on that.
I'm going to provide an update on the plunge at the end of the meeting, so then I can maybe answer those questions. Thank you, Commissioner Davis, though. That was a good overview, definitely.
Thank you. Transportation Subcommittee, Transportation Highlights. Looks like Ryan is going to
Yes,
jump in on
I'm
this.
very pleased to introduce who you all know very well, our wonderful Recreation Supervisor, Ryan Delgado.
See if I got this right. Good evening, Commission. Hope everyone's doing
Hi,
well.
Ryan.
Hope you all had nice holidays and such. Welcome back. Yes, so this is just to give a little quick overview, a couple slides. Kelly and I met last week. Commissioner Davis was unable to attend, but we're going to try and circle back and get that group to show us that overview. So just wanted to give a couple highlights. I know there's been some major changes to transportation pre-COVID, and here are some of these highlights. So first one's just going to be Beach Shuttle. We brought it back after a 2-year hiatus, which was great to have. We had approximately 4,558 riders. Yes, a lot of happy beachgoers. And it went really, really well from our end. Partnering with Swoop was great. They provided 2 QR codes where people waiting at the stops were able to scan the QR codes and it would tell them where the shuttle was. That was really beneficial to our front desk procedures because with Lyft coming in, we're getting a ton more calls. So that was probably one of our biggest calls throughout the summer was people waiting at the stop saying, hey, where's the shuttle at? We'd either have to contact the driver. So those QR codes were really, really beneficial to us, which kind of leads into the next slide.
Hey, Ryan, real fast, did
Yeah.
Swoop do just a nonstop loop, or did they only go
Yeah.
when they?
No.
It was
so,
the same kind of
so they
concept?
run same concept. They ran 2 shuttles. 2 actually passenger buses. They're about 12 seaters and way more efficient in the parking lots. Dockweiler parking lot can become Dockweiler parking lot, that's what it becomes. When you're trying to get through there, there can be a lot, and our shuttles are very wide. So kind of getting those shuttles off the road has been really, really good. We all know how the streets are here in El Segundo, and those shuttles running around do take up quite a bit of space. So getting them off actually with Lyft has beneficial as well with some of the streets. So we started this program in November of 2021, so it's been a little over a year that we've been running it. The first 3 months of the program, we averaged 63 riders. The last 3 months, it's been 399. So we've had really significant growth, and we get a lot of calls at the front desk. So Swoop taking on some of those calls has been really helpful to our front desk. And we've had a lot more riders sign up recently where they're able to just book through the app themselves. And if, we will run into some people who don't have a rec ID, aren't able to get down, we'll book them a ride, get them down there, sign them up for a rec ID. So people are starting to become much more comfortable with it, where to go, stand and find drivers. It's been really great. And I'm just very ecstatic with the program. So
Can you remind me, sorry, it's a long time ago, remind me how, so Rec Park Card gets them the lift and then the
Yeah.
city picks up that cost?
Yep. So for, it's all rides within town. There's like a set fees for Dr. Dial-A-Ride as well as in-town rides. Thus far, all of the in-town rides have never broken where somebody's had to pay. With Dr. Dial-A-Ride, someone did take it out to like the doctors in North Hollywood. We'll cover $15 of that, and then the rider's responsible for the rest. Yeah. So for Dr. Dial-A-Ride, and that's also been really great being able to run that because we were in a real pinch when it came to drivers, shuttles, and what we were able to offer. Dr. Dial-A-Ride was a Tuesday, Thursday program. When I moved to Joslin in 2007, we were only capable of offering it on Thursdays. So being able to expand to Tuesday and Thursday has been great. And really, with our old Dial-A-Ride program, 399 people, we could not offer that amount of rides. So we are servicing more people than we were able to pre this program.
And is there I'm sure you're trying to increase ridership. Is there a budget? Is there a point where we get too many riders and can't continue to support the program?
That is something I've been kind of looking within invoices, and we're going to have a Prop A meeting here to discuss those funds, but right now, not in the foreseeable future, so. And that kind of just brings us to the future. You know, Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Watson and myself are on the Transportation Committee. Coming up soon, we're going to talk with some members from the South Bay COG who've had an overall plan for the South Bay, and we're going to discuss what's been working for them, what we can apply to El Segundo, because transportation is changing. We see all the e-bikes zipping around. I'm a bike rider in town myself. I know Lee is, I know Kelly is. Walking around Scooter Path, and we want to start looking at what are some problem areas, what are some issues we're dealing with, and what are the simple ones we might be able to solve, recommendations to Public Works, and get those going. You know, the town has expanded over the last few years where it's beyond PCH. You have Campus El Segundo, the Aquatic Center, and we want to see how you can,
The skating rink.
and the skating rink is over there too. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff, and you know, LA traffic is back. Parents don't get home to 6. Sometimes practices start early. What are solutions we can come for some of those pieces? Lunchtime shuttle is something else we want to identify. That will relieve some, you know, potential parking within the downtown area during lunch. And we're just trying to modernize El Segundo and what are the options out there. And we're going to look at them and continue to evolve with transportation.
I have a question on the Lyft riders. Somebody that, say, is on a walker or a wheelchair or something like that and needs assistance from their home to the car, is that an option for them?
Yes, so they call it a WAVE vehicle, wheelchair access vehicle. We can request that, but it was the same policy with our drivers, that it's up to the driver discretion if they assist or not. So our drivers were not supposed to assist when it came to carrying groceries to someone's house or entering their house, and Lyft has those same policies. So that's something that's unchanged prior to this turnover.
Okay.
So the beauty of it is, you know, before we had some drivers who might have helped within that, you know, I'm thinking a couple people in particular, they make more shopping trips. So what you can carry, and that has always been our recommendation pre-Lyft, is get what you can carry. So before, we were only able to do 2 shopping trips. Now somebody can go 6 days a week. So it might be more time consuming going, but that was kind of a little bit of an issue sometimes with drivers in the past and patrons, what their expectation is versus what was our policy.
Okay, because like I'm thinking, like maybe a senior orders a car to come and maybe they need help getting out of their house, they're using a walker or something like that. Does the Lyft driver get out of their car, come up to the door
No,
to help them? So they have to be completely mobile in order to get out of their house and get to the car?
Yeah, they would.
Okay,
And that would be dial-a-ride policy as well. Our drivers wouldn't have helped that same individual from the house to the door, pre-Lyft.
okay. And I had spoken to you also one day at the Joslin Center about, you know, that there are some seniors out there that don't use a smartphone, you know, need more assistance on getting the Lyft ordered. And that they're not, you know, they're not going online, they're not looking at the website, and maybe the city needs to put an ad in the Herald, you know, where the seniors are looking, you know, they're still reading the Herald, or put a full-page flyer in the Herald, because our seniors still read the Herald, and they're not getting all the information. And I hear that from seniors that, you know, I didn't know about that, or I don't go online, you know. And so I think that we're missing a whole population of people in town that are not getting this information. And so I think we need to look at either doing a flyer drop or an ad in the Herald. I think the flyer drop is less expensive than doing an ad in the paper. And then they can keep that flyer instead of keeping the whole paper. They can keep that flyer to reference But I think we need to look at something like that
No,
to get them
absolutely.
that information.
Yeah, we're open to doing the drop in the Herald. That's super easy. New year, new rides.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
So I just want to point out that a lot of this is replacing stuff that we had previously, like the lunchtime shuttle, that conversation, the beach shuttle, you know, the Dial-A-Ride program. And, you know, not only has it been more profitable in the sense that we're not trying to run a shuttle as a city and all the losses that go with that and trying to find people to drive and everything else. But additionally, you know, as Ryan mentioned, it's smaller vehicles, it's more efficient, and really kind of meets a lot of really cool needs for the city. And, you know, yes, I appreciate that there are seniors who are maybe not, you know, smartphone users today, but from a futuristic perspective, it definitely is the way to go. So this is saving us running a fleet of vehicles, which hits a lot of buttons. So I just want to congratulate you because you've done just an incredible amount of work on this. And it makes me happy that some of these other things that we've sort of dreamed that are kind of seem like they may be off in the future may not be as off in the future as you would think. So good job, Brian.
Yeah, looking forward to more bike paths,
Yes,
selfishly.
yes.
Okay, thank you. Youth Sports Council.
We meet at the end of this month, so I'll have a report for you in February.
Okay, thank you. Director reports. Ally, back to you.
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission, you have my report before you. The December continued to be obviously a very busy month. One of the things that we didn't include in the official report, because I guess it's kind of a partnership, it was the Christmas dinner that was held at the Joslin Center, which was a great partnership. I know Commissioner Stolnak, the Rotary, assisted with that, didn't assist with it, essentially led that, also supported by staff. It was a fantastic event. They had entertainment, they got a nice meal. I think they had a wonderful turnout of volunteers, so it was just a really, really successful event. And so I want to recognize Commissioner Julie Stolnak for her work on that, as well as her partner Val Smith for her work as well, and then of course all the folks that you had with you.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to say?
Yeah, I'm sorry that Ryan left so early. I wanted to talk about that also, and thank Ryan and Eduardo for the, all the work that they put into it. And we did have a great turnout, and this was the 39th annual Christmas dinner. Normally it was held on Christmas Day, and last year it was moved to Christmas Eve. This year we had about 48 people attending at the Joslin Center, and then there were about 20 meals delivered to homes. And then we had just about as many volunteers that were there from NCL, from the Rotary Club, from the Rotary's Interact Club, and also just various community members showing up. And we were pretty much able to have one-on-one volunteers sit with those that were attending and visit with them. And it was really nice, and we had a catered meal. And it was, I think, enjoyed by all that attended, and I think that next year we'll have even more attending. And we had a trivia game, and we had Randy Albers was there playing Christmas music. And I think it was really nice. And I think next year, you know, we want to advertise it more that it's for the community and not just for seniors, because I think a lot of people think since it's the Joslin Center, that it's just for seniors, and it's not for seniors. It's for everybody in the community that doesn't have anybody to be with or anywhere to go on Christmas. So I'm looking forward to it next year, that we will maybe have more attending. So thank you, Ally, and for the Rec Park staff and the city for supporting that.
Yeah, it's a great event.
Okay. Ally, you have anything else?
Not at this point. When I have director's comments, I'll have more to say.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Watson.
I'm not sure if I should say this here or on your report, but I had asked to check into the rec ID auto renewals.
Yes,
Is that
so, no,
coming?
this is a perfect time to bring that up. So Ryan left, but Ryan is actually, working on that now, and we're bringing back a report in February, at least a status report. We have to work with finance, the city attorney's office, but at least he'll bring a status report. He is moving forward with that.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Second one was a resident brought up to me that they felt like there were not enough lights on the holiday tree.
Oh.
And that it seemed underwhelming for some reason. I
Okay.
did not notice that. I thought the tree looked great, but I am raising it that maybe our decorations have started to age. I don't know if that's the case, but
Yeah, we need
felt
to.
that it needed a few more lights.
Yeah, we actually are looking into replacing the decorations that are on the tree, so we'll take lights into consideration as well. It's my first time seeing it, I thought it looked great, but I have heard that as well, that the decorations are aging, maybe need to spruce it up, come with a different theme, so Ryan and I have already had that conversation, so.
Okay, super, excellent. All right, other than that, Linnea, we're gonna miss you in aquatics. And yeah, great job, overall on the aquatics. I know you're gonna give an update in a
Oh, yeah.
little bit, but, yeah, we definitely are happy that things are moving forward. It's been frustrating for not only council member, Perchik, but the rest of us on the committee at how long things have taken, but it is nice to see things moving forward finally. So that's all I got.
Commissioner Stolnik. Julie.
Yes, a couple of things. Regarding the tree, was the tree purchased through the Scouts or an outside vendor?
The tree was purchased from an outside vendor, but we did have, someone looking into potentially buying it from the Scouts. We've been in communication with the Scouts.
Okay.
And I can't remember the gentleman's name that I've been speaking with.
Okay, and then also, is the tree mulched afterwards for our city?
I would
Mulch?
assume so, but I would need to check on that.
Okay, I hope so.
I would need to check on that.
And then also in your report, you have there where the TAC, the teens had their programming, and they enjoyed a presentation about teen spaces for girls.
Right.
I think that maybe that presentation ought to be brought for us so that we could hear what it is that they were talking about. We did hear that?
They were just here.
Oh, when I was, okay.
Yeah, it was
all
very
right.
recently. It's been since I've been here.
Okay, all right.
It was a great presentation, and just, we are incorporating that feedback when we're gonna move forward with Rec Park Phase 1.
Okay, all right. And then, glad I watched the replay of council last night because I wanted to hear about the plunge, because we don't seem to hear about the plunge on the commission anymore, which I would like to hear about. And so I'd like to hear what it is that you are going to tell us. But I think that we should get regular updates on that. That would fall under Recreation and Parks. So I look forward to hearing what it is that you have to say, and I hope that we could get regular updates on that, because when things happen there, it seems like it's, people on the outside hear about it before we do. So, it would be nice if the commission hears about it before people on the outside do.
Am I allowed to speak or make a comment on that?
Go ahead.
Well, just that, you're absolutely right, and we had made that request of Elias in, our October-ish timeframe, or September, and he has been, very supportive and has now been, we had asked, it was, I think, at the November meeting, come to think of it, that he not take something to council before it comes back, at least to our committee, and then through commission, and he has committed to that, and that has been the case. This last part was an exception because we didn't have our meeting before city council, but Lee and I were brought in, and then even as late as last week, Ally had called and said, do you guys want to have a conversation before this happens on Tuesday? So it is 100% been a commitment to get better at it, and very much so since, I would say, October, November timeframe.
Okay. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Lubes, Dave?
No comments? Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chairperson Davis? We haven't voted yet.
Yes, as far as comments, I just want to thank staff, especially Linnea and Ally, for all their hard work with the plunge. It's nice to see a lot more support from council with concerns. I think we all have concerns, and I was really excited to see everyone seem to be on the same page, understanding that this is one of the top priorities that has been the priority for most of the people who were in council last night, getting in, saying that they were going to do it, and they're finally committing to saying that, let's get it done. So that was real pleasant. I'll call it a surprise. And that's about all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I just want to congratulate Linnea and thank you for what you've done and what you're going to do. Director's comments.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. You've been patient with me. I just finished my first 6 months here. I'm still really learning how the commission and the council interact in this city and understanding how I can best advocate for the commission while also working directly for the council. So I am committed to continuing to do that. So all of this feedback that you have, I appreciate it, and we are looking at how we can better keep the flow of communication and keep you all informed and engaged. So one of the recommendations, or one of the thoughts I had on that kind of follows Commissioner Stolnak's comment was, now that we are moving forward with the plunge, you know, we can set a standing committee with the aquatic subcommittee monthly, if that works for the two of you. I'd like to see if we can do that on Zoom, just because I know it would be easier for, you know, scheduling. But, you know, I agree that the commission needs to get information in a more timely manner and needs to get just more information in general. So I have discussed that with my colleague and expressed that it's a priority for the commission. So I am really trying to move towards that, and I absolutely commit to you that I will continue to do that. As far as the plunge, so you have heard a little bit about it. The council did vote to approve to fund the entire project or to move forward with the design as was recommended. So there were no cuts. I was very pleased. There was a lot of conversations that took place behind the scenes and a lot of championing, and we were successful. And so I really commend Linnea. I've been just, you know, really, really honored to work with her, and Commissioner Davis and Commissioner Watson as well. I know how passionately they've worked to get us where we are. I think it was made loud and clear last night that this is a priority and it needs to move forward. And we had some follow-up conversations this morning with the city manager, Public Works Director, and I, and I was given, I was basically asked to maintain my seat at the table and to use my voice. And so I will continue to do that. They are looking at, there was a timeline provided, but it's being, we're relooking at that timeline. But once I have that, those are the exact types of things that I will either ask this aquatic subcommittee to speak on monthly, or I will do that. Were there any other questions about the plunge before I move on to my other?
I should probably just watch the meeting, so I
You
apologize.
should watch the meeting.
Because I'm asking questions that are probably answered if I watch that. But as far as the timeline goes and the full funding, was there any indication as to, you know, hope to break ground 5 years from now, hope to break ground 3 years? Is there just a really broad timeline?
Yeah, I
with regard
think-
to how much money they have to make before they
Right,
get there? Is it
right.
5 years off, is it?
I would say within the next few years we'll break ground. I think that's the goal. There is some of the funding that has been allocated through the CIP is allocated per year, and I think the last allocation is in 25, 26.
So it's building.
Right, it's building, exactly. But I have asked for, I've basically asked to begin work on a capital fundraising campaign for the plunge. I know that we've done one for the Weisburn Center that was very successful, thanks to some very good connections we have and supporters we have in the community. I also have done similar fundraising projects in the last city I worked for. And I think it's really critical, so I think we're gonna be moving forward on that. The project will be funded. I'm fully confident. There's only about a $2 million gap, and I'm fairly confident that we'll be able to get that in funding. So we're moving forward.
Thank you.
Yes,
Did I hear we only have a $2 million gap?
I think it's about a $2 million gap.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So some of those things that they were talking about last night, like not painting the exterior to save $106,000, I mean, it was just crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, somebody's gonna come up with the idea of, we can have a community painting day, you know, and I am like, I don't wanna go into that, you know? We just need to fund the project.
Right.
Find the money and fund the project. And also not cutting corners to the point, like, you know, we should have learned our lesson, like when they did the soccer fields out there and they made them a little bit smaller to save a little bit of money, and now they're not regulation size, you know? And I saw when they were looking at possibly cutting the lobby there, and I didn't see, like, maybe they were gonna be just cutting the historical displays. You don't want that. Look at the Arts and Culture Commission to be funding that, you know. The historical displays are very important for that building. So I think we can find the money.
We will find the money.
Yeah,
We will find the money.
okay.
So that was on,
Lee,
oh,
Lee,
sorry.
You saying it's bigger than a $2 million gap, or you thought it was smaller? What was that? Because, I mean, we will find the money.
I choose not to assume where we are on anything until I hear a hard number. Understand that wasn't a hard number, but we could have anywhere from a $1 to a $8 million gap, depending on how they choose to allot money. I have not heard a true allotment for the plunge. In budgetary, I've heard what it's going to cost to fix. That we understand. What they've actually allotted for the project, I haven't heard a hard and fast number. So that's where my skepticism / inquiry was, that it
Yeah.
looks like 2 million, which is fantastic news from my point of view.
Yeah.
Well, and experience life tells us that the cost estimate from the architects is never what happens when you go out to bid. It's always gonna be more. So that's why when I hear 2, I'm thinking 5 or 6. And so, yes, we'll find the money. I've always, not always, I would rather wait 2 or 3 extra years and get it done right than cut things out and get it done earlier.
We've already
personally.
gone about 40 extra years on that, so we're well beyond that 2 or 3. But yeah, it's gonna take time, and it's gotta take money, but we're moving in the right direction.
We are
I think
moving.
is the takeaway from last night.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Commissioner
Okay.
Davis. I agree. So that was my plunge update. I also wanted to update the commission that the Rec Park Phase 1 RFQ was approved and will be released sometime this week. As soon as we get a consultant on board, we'll engage the commission. And as a matter of fact, Councilmember Perstuck recommended last night that we create a subcommittee of 2 commissioners, 2 council members, and staff that would operate somewhat similar to how the aquatics subcommittee. So I have to bring a report back to the council at the February 7th meeting, I believe it is, to request to form that committee. And at the meeting, I would assume they will appoint their 2 members, and then at our meeting in February, we would appoint 2 members as well. So I'd like to ask the commissioners to begin thinking about that. And one of the things they discussed was they don't want it to become more of a time issue, right? That, okay, if the committee understands, or the subcommittee understands, you know, you're there to provide support and, you know, this and that, but there may be times where we don't have time to bring things through the committee. Or there may be time to the committee. Yes. that the commission, that we would continue to, move through the commission channels, but that would be our priority. So I'm still working that out, and I will bring a report back to the council on that, and then would update you all in February. But I'm really excited. This is moving forward. We have already talked with, I know you heard from the gentleman this evening about the skate park. The skate park's included, so this is the first thing we're gonna look at is the teen center, the teen plaza, the teen center, the basketball court, and the skate park. That's priority number one. I already actually received a really great email today from an organization that is interested in potentially redesigning and paying for the basketball court at the teen center. They're connected somehow to the NBA, so I took that email and forwarded it to a consultant that I have working with me. His name is David Rodriguez. Matter of fact, I'll ask him to attend maybe the February meeting so you all can meet him. We just started working with him recently. He's gonna help with the RFQ and with the solicitation of potential design firms and whatnot. So we're gonna work together on that. So that's my update on that. And also I wanted to let you know that I have extended an offer to Rachel Cummings to be an acting recreation superintendent during Aricia's extended time off. So I would anticipate that she will be accepting that offer. So she will be stepping into that role, and then I'll need to do some backfilling of her position, and it's gonna create a little bit of a domino effect. But I will share that with you as that unfolds. But I'm I know most of you know Rachel. She's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to working with her. And we also have hired a new marketing specialist, Jacqueline, is it Paetzold? Jacqueline Paetzold. So she was a former lifeguard. So she's gonna be working 35 hours a week. She's gonna work I've moved her. The former marketing person was at Jocelyn under Ryan. We've moved the marketing person over to the admin office so that it can be centralized, so we can get more support as a department. So I wanted to let you all know about that. So I'm sure Jacqueline will attend a future meeting as well to formally introduce herself. And then the last thing I had was I wanted to let the commission know that I have made the decision to relocate our administrative offices down to the checkout building. I feel it's really important that I'm close by and in the park, especially with the rec park improvements, but also just to be able to interact more often with the staff and just to be present. And not that the library's not important, it is. They're kind of a well-oiled machine at this point. They don't have so many, one-offs that we do in recreation. So I'm really pleased to be able to kind of bring this new team that we're forming here together with these ladies and with Rachel as well and Jacqueline. So I wanted to let you all know about that. And that concludes my comments for this evening. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Are there any questions? Okay. Seeing none, before we adjourn, I just want to congratulate the City of El Segundo. It is, a happy anniversary?
Yes,
January
106.
18th, 1917, 106 years.
106.
106 years old
Today.
And with that, we'll adjourn to the, sounds like very busy February 15th, 2023
Sorry.
meeting.
I apologize in advance, yes. Thank you, Commissioner.